Well, greetings, family. Pastor Jamal here, Rising Ground Church. So I was thinking about something over the last couple of days. Pretty simple, but I thought it was worth talking about. I thought it was worth talking about. So we have this thing about God's permissive will and His perfect will. I think a lot of us get hung up on what that really looks like, and are we in it, or what are we doing, or what does God really, what's His design as it relates to that kind of thing. And so I was thinking about it, and I think this is worth mentioning this way. So I guess when we think about permissive versus perfect, what is permissive? Permissive in essence is it's an option. It's an option. So you have an option to either do this or do that. Perfect, it's steadfast. It's no options. So as it relates to God's permissive will and His perfect will, what could God really be pointing us to, or what is it? And I really think this is really pertinent for this time in history, because we have a lot of resources that kind of give us new ideas, or give us different ideas about, man, how do we meet our goals? How do we go about creating the life that we feel like we deserve and we want? Maybe God wants for us. But what does God really think about? I don't know how we go about doing it. So I was thinking about permissive versus perfect. So I believe that, one layer of permissive and perfect will is this. Permissive will is, in essence, the use of God's law. So you have the ability to use the systems or the laws of God to create or to furnish your desire. So you have a desire to be something, to have something, and you start to use the techniques or the strategies of the law, and you can say the universe, whatever you want to say. You have the ability to start to create from that permissive place, from that place that is already, God's law is already established, is already there, it's already available, and you have, the option to create life from that place. But what is the perfect will of God? The perfect will of God is in essence, it's this place where the designer, God is the designer, and God has planned your life out from the very beginning. So He's designed something for you to be. He's designed how you are to flow through this life, in all of its, rough and smooth places. Nonetheless, He's designed it. So His perfect will is a will that is completely sold out and surrendered to His plan for how He wants to create what we call success. And when I mean success, I'm not talking about anything necessarily tangible. I mean success is literally, when we're talking about God's success, it's doing God's plan, God's way. And His perfect will is for you to literally go about doing life that way, And we can get caught up with permissive because it doesn't seem, I'll say this, because God's law is available, we think that that's valid for us to start to create life or systems, because it's available to us. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily it's not necessarily an evil thought or a wicked thought. It seems obvious to us because that's the world that we live in. But the truth is, God's perfect will is literally the ultimate plan for complete and total deliverance and salvation, in this earth. Salvation is being saved from impending danger here right now. So there are things that lurk. There are things that are in the corners. There are things that are around looking for an opportunity to legally um, get into your life. And believe it or not, permissive actions allow other things access into your life. So then you have to learn how to operate in God's perfect will, so that you can close those doors. And a lot of times, man, that's rough, especially when you're used to just operating under God's law, under the permissive will, of things. And don't get caught up so much in the terms, meaning you hear God's law and you say, well, that's God's law. But gravity is God's law. All of the scientific everything's, point to God. But that still means that we have to be wise in our understanding and in our dealings with these things. So it's the same thing when it comes down to, a permissive will this way and a perfect will this way. So I hope I'm making sense, because it's crucial that we start, man, to really live our life according to divine flow. You know what we hear, that's what this life is about, divine flow. I hope I can just spit. Anyway, there is a divine flow to your life. God's plan, God's systems have a divine flow. There is a flow to it. There is a current. There is a way that it moves and it goes. And that's what we have to plug into and live our lives according to. And yeah, everybody's flow, everybody's divine flow is not the same. So and I think that's the problem too. We live our lives, or we try to, according to other people's flows, whether that's divine flow or that's just flow, when there is a unique current for your specific life, and only God can tell you that. Only God can, get you there. So think about this, man, and investigate, what will are you operating under? Are you operating under a permissive will, which is a will that has choices? Or are you operating under a perfect will, which is a will that is complete, it's done, it's steadfast, and it's one way? So think about it, folks. Pastor Jamal, Rising Ground Church. I'll talk to you. Peace.